Entrepreneurship conversations usually focus on strategy, marketing, revenue, scaling, 10xing. You get where I'm going? But almost nobody talks about the thing that actually determines whether you can sustain any of it, your health. More specifically, your nervous system. And I think this matters even more for people building something of their own because entrepreneurship asks a lot from you and of you. It asks for consistency, it asks for reliability, being able to show up even when things feel uncertain. And those aren't just personality traits. Those are nervous system capacities. Hey there, my name is Leslie, and I am your favorite nurse yogi. I am a registered nurse with 12 years of healthcare experience. I am also a certified yoga instructor with my own wellness business. I've been teaching yoga for the past 5 years. No, I do not teach in a brick and mortar. I teach yoga for the community in communal spaces, on cruises, at conferences, different types of spaces. So if you're, looking for somebody, a yoga teacher for your next conference, holla at your girl. But today is about you, the entrepreneur who feels like you're burning, what's that saying, the candle at both ends. Listen to this video. Make sure you are subscribed because your girl is on the road to 1K. At time of recording, today is March 5th, 2026, and I have 990 subscribers. I just checked before recording this video. And oh Lord, it's day 29. I had to look down really quick. And I do have a script, so that's why I'm looking down, just keeping that, being transparent with that. But it is day 29 of 100 days straight of YouTube. So today, this was the topic that came up for me because of just personal things that I'm going to share throughout this video. I already said, a business owner, so I can relate to this, okay? So yeah, I'm speaking on this conversation of entrepreneurship because I was a little nervous to talk on entrepreneurship because I haven't hit 6 figures yet. You know what I'm saying? I've had sold out events and those type of things, but I guess perspective is everything because the connections I've made these past 5 years since becoming an entrepreneur have been life-changing. They've supported me in business-wise, these connections, and also personally. So I am a registered nurse, told y'all that already. I'm a certified yoga instructor. So I understand health from 2 sides. That's what separates me from other people in the wellness space. I understand from the clinical side as a registered nurse. I worked in the hospital and I now work for a tech company, still practicing as a nurse from home, which is super, super cool. And then I also know the body. So yes, I learned the body clinically, but I also got certified as a yoga instructor to learn the body holistically, right? And so it's such a great place to be at. And I'm also, someone building a wellness business while working in corporate healthcare. So it's a very dancing act, if you will. I think I'm really bad with saying, so you just have to fill in the blanks, okay? And let me know, because I thought this was just me. But one of my favorite shows is Abbott Elementary, and I can relate to, oh my God, I see her face in my head and I'm doing exactly what she does, but you'll say the complete opposite thing of oh, that's Denzel Washington, or, that's so-and-so or whatever. And then the person's like, no, Leslie, that's Michael B. Jordan. I'm being very sarcastic, but I'm bad with sayings. I don't really remember people that well. It can be a little bad, but I'm living in building my business in real time. And I want to share with you all things in real time. Yes, there are going to be the videos coming up that I'm going to say I hit 6 figures in my business. I left my corporate job. Those videos are coming, but I'm not there at this level, in this point of my life, but how do they say it in the manifesting world? That Leslie already exists. I just have to catch up to her. All right, let's not get too woo-woo. So the traits entrepreneurs actually need. When people talk about entrepreneurship, they often focus on creativity or ideas, which if you are a true entrepreneur, you are a visionary. When I tell you, you are a visionary, and I didn't think I was a visionary until maybe like a year or so ago. My husband, he was like, so it was like this. I'll be like, we should go to the beach this weekend. Like we haven't like done family time or whatever in that way. And he'd be like, okay. And then the leading up, we have to get food and got to make sure there's gas in the car, and you have to make sure there's the clean towels, clean bathing suits. Girl, my husband does all of the detailed stuff. I'm just the visionary. I make, the vision, and then he helps make the vision happen. So the traits that actually sustain a business are things like consistency, dependability, being prompt, showing up when you said you would. When I tell you, I'll say yes to things, and I've been better lately of saying no. Not like, so recently I had a organization reach out to me because I'm a content creator. So that's like one aspect of what I do to make money, one of my income streams. And this year, I am no longer doing free gifted collabs. I'm not doing that anymore unless it aligns with me. Like, so I'm not going to say I'm never going to do that moving forward. It has to really align. And so I had an organization reach out. They were like, oh, free, like gifted UGC. And I was like, mm-mm. And if you don't know what UGC is, it's user-generated content, which I feel like that's the real bag as a content creator. It can be if you know how to negotiate properly. And so I said, unfortunately, I'm unable to do gifted collabs at this time. And they're like, okay, no problem, right? But I know that they reached out to me because I did something for them previously, and I was prompt. I'm also very consistent on social media, and no matter what anybody says, that matters. That matters when it comes to getting opportunities if you are up and coming, right? And I'm no longer up and coming because I've been in business for 5 years, but the content creator space is a little like everybody's in it, and one can say it's oversaturated, but not everybody is consistent in it, right? So what I've realized with these skills, these traits that I have, everything I just said, consistency, dependability, being prompt, showing up when you said you would, and being able to receive feedback, these are regulation skills, if you will. These are skills that I have developed over the past, since I started but really since I came back to my yoga practice in 2017 after having a miscarriage. I came back to my yoga practice through way of going back to doing the physical movements of yoga, but also getting therapy. That was actually when I started my therapy journey, and I learned regulation skills. And with learning regulation skills, you learn how to take complete accountability. And something else came up for me. There's this book that one of my therapists recommended to me about radical acceptance. I believe it's like Buddhist. Oh my gosh, but that just came up for me because with being able to take feedback, right? Constructive feedback, right? Good, okay. Because I'm looking at my script, I'm like, am I going off a tangent? The script knows me good. So I recently started a new corporate role, and something that my supervisor said, it really stood out to me because the previous job that I had, that supervisor literally said, they both said the same thing, but they don't know each other from Adam. And so literally yesterday, my supervisor was like, oh, my mic might go out because it says it's red. And you're going to realize this is a common theme, y'all. I'm going to always complain that my camera is not charged. And I'm always going to say, or I'm going to say something is never charged. I know I shouldn't continue speaking that because words are powerful, but it's like a joke at this point because I record every single day. So it's not even that... It's not even that like my things are dead because they're dead. It's because I'm working. These devices work harder than me. So both of these supervisors told me the following when it comes to constructive feedback. They said, you take constructive feedback very well. And once this current supervisor said that to me, I was like, what is everybody else doing? Because just a little to add to this, my husband, he is a supervisor for where he works. So I told him this, and I was like, he was like, Leslie, you would be surprised at people. They're not good with receiving feedback. They won't admit to being wrong. That's the thing. And so that's why the radical acceptance, I think that's what, I really wish I could find that book right now. But learning how to, if somebody is telling you something, especially, and I want to put this here, if somebody's causing you harm and all of that, this does not apply. But if somebody like my supervisor is, and the job I currently work right now, it's a startup. So every day things are changing. Every day the and we're making the work processes together, right? And so they're going to tell me like, hey, you, like today too, they're like, you did this wrong or whatever. This is how we are supposed to do it. And I'm like, oh, okay, yes. And I'm so proud of myself because I was like, oh yeah, that was me. Because this supervisor too was like, I don't want to like call you out in front of everybody. Me and the other girl, the third person didn't really say anything, but we're like, call us out. Call us out and in, because how can we grow how can we grow as a company? Because right now, what I'm in, the authorization management lateral of this tech company, it's only 5 of us. And they plan to expand this to like 40. And then we're going to be the trainers. And so I said to him, I was like, if I'm going to be one of the trainers, I want to make sure I'm doing this efficiently, right? And obviously they wouldn't put you as a trainer if you're not doing it correctly. At least I would hope. But I digress. So I paused when both supervisors said that to me because, my previous sorry, y'all. Let's trudge through the mud. We're literally trudging through the mud. So receiving feedback well is not just about professionalism. It's about your nervous system. Because when someone gives feedback, the body can interpret that as a threat. So when somebody gives you feedback, the body can interpret that as a threat. And when the nervous system feels threatened, we tend to get defensive, and we also tend to shut down, or we avoid. And I am number 3, the avoidant. When I tell you avoidant all day. And so for me to speak up and take ownership of the mistake, I've come very, very far. So yeah, with entrepreneurship, you're constantly getting feedback from clients, from results, from the market. And if your nervous system cannot tolerate feedback, growth becomes very, very difficult, right? So you cannot be like, well, it's because the market is saturated. That's why I'm not making money. Or, well, it's because, I'm a mom and I got kids. Well, it's because I work a full-time job. So like, how do you expect me to find the time? Like, you hire a coach and you're telling the coach that? Like, get it together. Your nervous system is very dysregulated. You need to breathe. You need to realize the person that you hired is not trying to bring you down, right? And again, I just have to add this, maybe that person is, I will say like, maybe you are in a situation like that. And if you are, I hope you can get out of it. But when you start leveling up, when you start raising your vibration, you are going to attract people. I'm speaking this over your life. You are going to attract people in your life that genuinely, I'm speaking over your life and my life, genuinely want to see you win. They want to see you win so bad. Like, that's who you're attracting. So if you have somebody in your life like that, I'm claiming that for you, because if you currently don't, you will. If you have somebody in your life like that and they're like, hey, I'm gonna call you in just real quick, sis. Next time, like, I love that you're doing X, Y, and Z, but maybe next time, da 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 da. And because of the self-work I've done these past few years, my discernment is pretty good. So when somebody is giving me feedback, I know if it's coming from a good or bad place. Yeah. Okay. So let's move on. The wellness industry conversation. Okay. So right now the wellness industry is growing rapidly. A few months ago, I actually did a video where how do they say it? Like, going through the Peloton CEOs, what is it called? Like when they do like their report and is their stakeholder or shareholder letter. So the Peloton CEO shared his shareholder letter. And in the shareholder letter, he was saying that the wellness industry is like I want to, don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure he said like it's billions of dollars at this time, and that people are willing to spend at least $100 a month on their wellness. Why? Because this part I'm adding, but because of the pandemic, people are realizing that the truest hack is health. That is the only way you can live a long, sustainable life. Yes, you can live a long life, thankfully, because of medicine, but a lot of the people that are living a long life just because of medicine are not living thriving, sustainable lives. Okay, so sometimes wellness gets framed as something optional or luxurious, but for entrepreneurs like you, I see it completely differently. Health is not a luxury. Health is not a luxury. It is infrastructure. You have to think of yourself as infrastructure, right? You as a house, as a system, you have multiple systems throughout your body. You have your nervous system, you have your gastrointestinal system where your stomach is. You have your genitourinary system where your bladder is, where your kidneys are. You have your integumentary system, which is your skin. Isn't it so fascinating that God made us system-based, right? I need to share this with my friend Merlene, who's also my business strategist, because she's systems down. I think it's so fascinating that we're created like that, and that's how we need to move. We need to move systemically. And how you move within systems is you create infrastructure within systems, right? So it's making sure you have a sleep routine, your breath is regulated, your ability to regulate stress, right? Stress is normal. It's just a matter of once the stress becomes chronic, right? That's when it wreaks havoc on your nervous system and shows up in ways of shingles. I recently heard this was from, she said it publicly, Les Alfred, the person that created Balanced Black Girl podcast, which is now She's So Lucky podcast. She said earlier this year, or maybe it was last year, she got shingles, and she's like my age, and she got shingles because she was so stressed, guys. So stressed. And if you don't know what shingles is, it like affects your nerves. So there's your nervous system, which is like the calming and all that, but your nerve, like you can have nerve damage. And what that looks like is like you might like lose, like you could lose an eye, you could like lose like we have all these nerves throughout your body. You could become limp in the mouth. Your mouth can't move if you don't treat shingles, okay? And that can happen from stress. Like stress is very, very detrimental if it's not regulated properly. So your ability to stay steady when things feel uncertain is why you need to have a health routine. That's what allows me to keep showing up every day. So the real hack, people are always looking for productivity hacks. Like how can they be more, do more in the limited amount of time that they have. But one of the most overlooked advantages in entrepreneurship is simply this: a regulated nervous system. A regulated nervous system. That's the hack. That's the hack, right? Let me just finish this, and I hope I remember to say this next part. Because when your nervous system is overwhelmed, even the best strategy becomes hard to execute. Not because you're lazy. So I'm going to say that again. If your nervous system is dysregulated and you're not able to complete the task that you normally are able to do within your business, it is not because you're lazy. And also, I'm going to say this too. Before you hire a VA, no shade to VAs, we need them, or an assistant, or somebody, like I need somebody on my team. I need somebody on the team because I'm overwhelmed. Check yourself. Check yourself first. Are you sleeping? Are you eating fruits and vegetables every day? Are you moving your body at least 3 times a week for 30 minutes? Once you're doing that stuff, and you're like, I have so much peace, because you'll notice, once you start doing this, you're like, damn, life, I got peace. Yes, the world, there's a lot going on in the world right now, but internally, you're like, I feel amazing. Then you can hire the VA. So, okay, we're wrapping up, y'all. So, let me see. Okay. So if you are building something right now, don't overlook the system that is carrying the vision. Your body. Your body. When I told y'all we have multiple systems. I believe it's about 6 systems we have in our body because we have our cardiovascular system, right? We also have the integumentary system. We have our GI, GU. We have our, what else am I missing? We have our endocrine system. This is where the sugars live. So yeah, there's about 6 to 7 systems in our body. Your breath, this is also what carries the vision. Your health. Entrepreneurship will always, always, always ask you to grow. But I feel the same as just for being a human overall, right? But growth is so much more sustainable when your nervous system has the capacity to hold it. Okay? You don't need permission to evolve, but you do need the capacity to sustain what you are building. And health is a big, big, big part of that. It's the only way, y'all, that I am in year 5 of my business. No, I have not hit 6 figures yet, but it's the only way, me being in the health space and also practicing the things that I tell you to do, is the only reason I am able to sustain and every single day pick up this phone, pick up this camera, and share resources with you. So if you need further assistance on because what all this all really boils down to too, if when I'm talking about your sleep, I'm talking about your health, I'm talking about, you eating nutritious foods. You need to have routines because within systems, in order for there to be a system, there has to be routine. You have to be doing the same thing over and over again. It's mimicking your body. So your heart, your cardiovascular system, it does the same thing over and over again. It takes the deoxygenated blood, filters it through the heart, pumps out the oxygenated blood through your aorta, which is the main heart vessel, and disperses it throughout your body. It does that like within seconds for sun up to every single day. It's doing that, right? But it's a routine. And so in that same way that your body is routine, it's regimented. It is. You didn't have to train it to do that. You need to do that same thing though with what you're doing outside because your body likes the same thing. Even if you don't, because I'm a Libra, y'all. I'm an air sign. I be wanting to run away. I'd be like, I don't want to do any of this anymore. So I get it, but your body likes routine. So if you need help with that, I'll leave my workbook down below. It's free, where I share with you a routine that will prevent you from becoming even more burnt out or becoming burnt out. Because I'm truly here for the entrepreneurs that are not burnt out yet. I want to give you those tools before you even burnout. I don't know him. Anyways, I'm closing out this video. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure you subscribe. Most importantly, double, triple check that you are subscribed. Like this video, comment, and also maybe share it with a friend. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.